Have you ever heard the saying of other people's money, or OPM? Do you know how you can use other people's money to buy HEX and make yourself money using somebody else's money? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I put together an entire example, show you exactly that using a refi on a mortgage, because this is the process that I'm literally going through. So I wanted to run the numbers for myself, and I figured since they were so freaking awesome that I'd share them with you. But first, if this is your first time here, oh, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it is good to freaking see you. Anybody who wants to support the channel can check the links down below. Now, first, let's cover the different ways to gain leverage, HEX, and then we'll jump into this awesome spreadsheet so that you can do it. And maybe I can list the spreadsheet down below if you guys are curious. But so HEX, right? We probably are aware of HEX if you're watching this video, but if you're not aware of what HEX is a cryptocurrency that allows you to kind of create a digital CD that pays you interest, right? A certificate, a deposit. So you put money in and you lock it for a certain period of time and you earn money on your money that's locked up. Just like you would kind of in a savings account, right? Kind of think of it as a savings account, right? But it's a CD in the sense that it's locked up for a certain period of time. Basically, that's it. Period. Super simple. And when you think of leverage, there's two ways for leverage. You have other people's time and other people's money, right? You can think of other people's time as a business and hiring people in your business, because then not only are you getting their time, but you're also getting their energy in your business, right? And if you think about how certain, like a business is run, it needs a tremendous amount of economic energy behind it, right? And that energy comes in the form of people's time and efforts that they're putting into there. So we'll do future videos on how you can leverage that, but how can you leverage other people's money to get wealthy, right? And these people are also happy to do this for you. Well, that leads us into this example here. So what we have is I've got equity in this property, right? Now I'm going to go through and refinance and do the same exact thing in real estate, right? So pull out equity, take the bank's money that they give me on this property, take that and put it into another property, right? Rent that property out, so then I'm getting cash flow on that property. But then I'm like, wait, I can do the same thing with HEX. Then I don't have to hire a property manager. I don't have to deal with anything in terms of maintenance or hiring somebody for maintenance and any of those details associated with it. Now, there's no leverage, so to speak, like there is in real estate. So we could run the numbers and compare them, but you have some other benefits to that. There's also some risks to this too, which we're going to cover as well. So say I can get about $100,000. I think it's going to be a little north of this, right? In terms of equity pulling out of the property. Interest rate 5%. So this is conservative. The interest rate currently on a 30-year fix is I should be able to get substantially less than 5%. Well, just for illustration purposes, we'll say it's 5%. A 30-year term, P&I, this is principal and interest, is going to be $537. Cool. So that means I can borrow $100,000 of other people's money and pay them back $537 a month, right? It seems like a pretty good deal. You give me $100 grand, I'll give you $500 a month in return, and I'll use your money to make money. Yes. If you're not aware of it, this is how the banks work. For anybody who saves money, anybody who puts money into the bank and just leaves it there, right? The USD. This is what the bank does. You put your money that you work for into the bank literally turns around and lends it to people who take that money to make more money. Like, that's how it works, if you're not aware of it. Currently, we have HEX prices about 14.5 cents, right? 14.6, or I'm sorry, 0.146 cents. So now let's go through this example of taking HEX and staking it for 30 days. Because we've got a delta here. Remember, we have 5% annual rate here, but we know the annual rate on HEX is substantially higher than 5%. So what does that allow us to do? An arbitrage, or like a way to get free fucking money effectively. Our return is this high and our borrowing rate is this high. That means we get that interest, that part right there, that's the profit. So in this example, if we take 100,000 and we convert it to HEX at 0.146, that comes out to be about 684,000 HEX, right? That staked at 30 days gives us about, and I use the calculator here, this is hexcalc.net. So that gives us about 6,000 new HEX over that 30 days. Assuming the price doesn't change at all, right? And you're like, okay, well, the risk is that the price can come down and then you don't have enough. Yeah, we're going to get into that in a second. So a 30-day HEX stake gives us almost 6,000 new coins, which that translates to $859. So remember, the cost on this is $537. We're making $839. We did not factor in transaction fees. So if you factor $50 for like a couple moves right there, right? And right now they seem to be lower than $50. So maybe, like, I think this could be conservative here. The profit is going to be the difference. Oh, actually, you can't see this. This is going to be this amount minus this, minus the transaction fees, and minus how much we're paying back to the bank. So it's $272 profit, right? So if we look over here, the price of HEX, well, you're like, so what happens in 30 days if the price of HEX comes down, right? Well, the price has to come down by another from where it currently is, and it's already down 80% roughly. So it has to drop another 36% to around 0.0925 cents for us to just break even. That means the same exact thing we went through, but because the price came down, the profit that we're pulling, that interest that we're selling off to pay the mortgage, is now break even. It's about $540 that we're getting in 30 days of profit from this, right? So either way, it's still like the price comes down this far and you're still at, but then you're like, well, crypto is really risky, right? But this is the perfect time to set this up. Like, in my personal opinion, I'm not saying you should do any of the things that I do in these videos, but at the bottom of a bear market, it's the perfect time to set this up. What do you think happens in a year or 2 years with the cryptocurrency? Do you think there's the possibility prices could go up? Yeah, no fucking shit. Okay. So what would be a more conservative way of handling this? So that, because there's some people who are scared, right? Some people have never done this kind of shit and they're like, wow, this guy's crazy as fuck, but it's interesting, right? And if that's the case, take a second, press that like button, you should do that. But what is another way to look at this in a more conservative light so that you don't have to be as concerned about the price dropping, right? Well, that's where we put this together. So same idea here, right? HEX price is currently this. I just left this break even in here. $100,000, 5%, 30 years, payment same amount. But look, what if we put a reserve? What if we had a $6,444 reserve for the first 12 months? That's all that is. That's just the next 12 months. So we get our mortgage, right? We take $6,500 in a new account. Let's open up a brand new checking account. This is like, if you don't have the mental wherewithal or discipline to follow through, like, don't do this. If you don't have discipline in your fucking life, don't do what I'm talking about. You need discipline, period. Well, you need discipline for happiness and like um, you know, growth in your own fucking life, your personal development. So like, if this is like, oh my God, you requires discipline, and I can't have $6,500 sitting in my account not doing something, like, don't do this. Work on yourself first. Okay. So if we just take the reserve from the money that we get, the other people's money, right? OPM, then what's available is $93,000, and all this is 100 grand minus the reserve. So now what we have done is we have taken the first 12 months and just set that aside so that that's in a separate checking account that we just pay the bill every month. And you can probably just set it up automatically. I'm sure you can, so you don't even have to pay the bill during that time. Now that leaves us effectively 640,000 HEX, right? So now we take $93,000 and convert that to HEX, right? A 1-year stake yields us 84,000 new HEX. That in USD terms, so this is the profit effectively before transaction fee, is $11,500. Now, when we take a look at the same thing, we're going to add a transaction fee for $50. So now the actual profit, and when we say this, I think I actually took out 500 already in this one. Yes, I did. So the profit on here is actually $11,500. $11,500. So what we effectively have done is we took other people's money, we invested it at a higher interest rate, we set a reserve. So for the first 12 months, nothing has to happen. And now think, right? We've already had, what is it, 6-7 months of a bear market where the price has come down. Do you think in another 12 months, the price has a chance of being higher than 14 cents? Yeah, it does. Yes, it could still drop, right? But the point of this, let's come down here where we have profit here. Where is this calculated? I think this is, let's just do it quickly in a formula. We have this here, that's the profit on here, and this is the HEX stake here. Oh, I'm miscalculated this. Okay, so, well, because the price in HEX, if you go to Nomics, is actually less than that, slightly. What at the beginning of doing this research, it was 1,458 or something. So I just pulled it in and rounded it up, right? So if we wanted to see, the number is actually 12,000, right, for this stake here. But what if this came down to like 8 cents, right? 8 cents gives you still $6,000 profit. So what does that mean? And the price, that means the price is coming down by about 50%. So these are not programs, right? So I would have to recalculate those. But if in 1 year, HEX price is now 8 cents a share, 8 cents a share. So it's down 46% roughly from today's price. 8 cents a share. That means 1 year from today, in the profit, in terms of USD value that we have, $6,700. Well, what does that mean? That means we still have our 100 grand or our $93,000, right? We have our $93,000 and we have our reserve again. So we have our 100 grand again. We pull out the reserve after going through and factoring in the $50 for a transaction fee. The profit is $6,700. That yields us another 12 months of reserve. So we do the same exact thing. And remember, what happens, say, what if hypothetically, right, HEX is 54 cents, right, a share. What does that mean? Well, that means in 1 year, you have a $45,000 profit. $45,000 profit, you could take that and stake that for 18 months, 2 years out, right? So if you take $45,000, grab your reserve, right? So you grab another $6,500, set that as reserve, fill your bank account back up so the next year is all paid for, right? Take your $93,000, put that as a 1 year stake again. The profit from here, so this is getting a little bit complex. If you want me to draw this out into detail, let me know, but I'll try to summarize it more simply in a moment. This $45,000 of profit right here, down at the bottom, right? This takes $6,500. That goes into the checking account. You've got your next year of payments covered. Step one. Step two, take your $93,000, right? The original amount, stake that again for 1 year. Boom, you're good. Now, take the remainder, the 39,000 and change of the profit, and stake that for 2 years, 3 years out. So this way, in 3 years out, that $93,000 is just going to be yours, because in 3 years, there's the possibility this could be substantially higher, but you've been earning that higher interest rate. Well, what if this is in, say, now that would effectively be 4 years away, right? What if this is $2.20, right? The numbers just go stupid crazy. And this way, you get to use other people's money instead of BlackRock and different hedge funds and all these large real estate companies using other people's money to enrich themselves and their investors, which I mean, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, that's a negative thing, or that I have like bad connotations associated with that. It's just a lot of people have very poor information about financial literacy. This is like what I mean, probably in the next 30 to 120 days, this is what I'm going to be doing. Because, and I'll probably start maybe smaller, but maybe I won't, because I'll feel way more comfortable in the next 30 to 120 days to be able to just go through, okay, let's try this out. Worst case scenario, I could always float the note myself, you know, not that I'd want to, but I could always float the note by myself. That just means I can pay for it myself. Now, if you found this unique and nobody else is talking about this, trying to grow the channel, take a second, think of somebody else that you know who's in HEX, who is in crypto, and share this video with them. I don't know if anybody else is talking about this, so to spread this type of information out there, if you found value in it and you know somebody else in HEX, share this video with them. Press that subscribe button and the bell notification. If you have any ideas or thoughts on what we talked about here, leave them down below or jump over to Twitter. There's a link down below. And if you like fitness related stuff, there will be another channel around here somewhere. That's my fitness related channel, where we also talk about crazy shit like this, where it's on the fringe of the fitness community, right? It's on the fringe of stuff that nobody else talks about. So I appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.